everyone. So let's jump right back in to where we were last time, and I want to catch you up. This would be another short and sweet stream. I was going to try to quantify it by which apps I'm using, but it's primarily Blender. But a little bit of a process stream for y'all. When I last left you, I think it was right around this point where I was thinking of utilizing this scan of a minibus. It's actually the pretty much the exact bus line I used to take as a kid, so it has nostalgic quality for me, as most of my newer series of pieces are apt to be. And I thought that's great. We can really play with this bus, but something about it didn't sit right, and I'm not sure when I will utilize this Muni bus in the future, but it's not this piece. As much as I love Steve Bijou driving a bus, he normally he normally sails through the clouds. It just made sense for me to kind of like push away from this altogether. They don't go together, and this is sort of where my intuition is really comes in handy because I was like, what is this? Why is this not? They're just not. The chemistry wasn't there. So I started going through my Scaniverse archives, and I was like, something. There's going to be something in here that speaks to me. And so I'll show you the next frame. I This is a combination of several splats, Gaussian splats. The one in the back, or sorry, the one in the foreground is actually one I've used before in an arrival space scene. An arrival space is a really great sort of open sourcey sort of platform to basically stage things like Gaussian splats. But I've never used it in a piece before, specifically for something printed. And I thought, okay, well, I really love this little beanstalk. You see it here, the little beanstalk boat. And in the spirit of cultural preservation, I had learned that it's actually not really a boat; it's a parklet that was torn down soon after that I scanned it, and so it doesn't even exist anymore. I don't see it on the street anywhere. But it was the cutest thing ever. And in the background is actually it's three splats. Now that I'm looking at it, it's maybe three or four splats because this right here. Actually, you know what? Let me take you to the actual piece. Let me just not spoil this anymore. We're going straight to the file so you can see this in full 3D. And I'm spoiling that. I'm including Heartbreak Bun Bun in the mix because we got to get, a diversity of my creatures together. And it's only right. Did you see that little thing right there? That was like all the little splats in card mode. Now you can tell this is running a little bit slower because it's chugging a little bit because of all the splatterification here. I wonder if I could bring it down. Nah, not by much. Anyways, as you can see here, yeah, it's actually four different splats. There's the boat, there's Naga the dragon, who I haven't introduced yet, which is a beautiful. For the little time that I got to spend with Naga the Dragon, as far as I understand, Naga the Dragon is a Burning Man piece. My friend Josette told me that when she first saw Naga at Burning Man, he didn't even have scales yet. So this installation now you can actually see at Golden Gate Park. I think along JFK Drive, and I think every 15 or 10 minutes or so, bubbles will fly out of his nose. So if I make this into an AR piece, I would love to include particles of some kind. But as you can see here, that's where this is coming out. And if you're really looking sharply, there's a little tiny baby mushroom here. I am going to start planting this little baby mushroom in more of my pieces. Right now, I think this is the second piece I have that baby mushroom in. And so you can see here, I'm going to go to another view for you. There's a close-up view here. Oh, got to go to the camera. I have some God ray action here which is cool. So if you get really close up, you can see that there's hair on Steve Bijou's face. There's little bit of felt action there. And I'm using a really lovely add-on for that. And that's also goes for the hat. But yeah, I just want them to feel like, well, in this case, this Bun Bun is named Heartbreak Bun Bun. So he's apt to be very emo and like, that's why he kind of looks very Hot Topic 90s looking. And yeah, I was just reflecting a little bit of a tough time in my life. So I wanted to at least honor that side of myself with that character. By the way, it does look like Steve's arm is going through his head, so I need to like either move Heartbreak a little bit closer, which he can afford to be. Let's move this to a bit more of a draft mode so I can see everything okay. Yeah, let's move you a little bit forward like so. Maybe rotate a bit more that way. So he's kind of looking at the bird, but also at Steve at the same time. We can play with that in the pose mode here. Now, out of all this, funnily enough, the nightmare out of all this was really figuring out how to rig this specific Bun Bun. I don't know why. And by the way, it's not a great rig. I got to be honest with you. In fact, in this stream, I might even play a little bit with the... If you look down here at the pants, his footsies are showing through. So if I go back to this view, you'll see. So I have to fix that, see? Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the pose. I'm pretty happy with the composition of it. I didn't know. So you saw where this began. It began with Steve alone with the bus. I always intend there to be passengers of some kind. I think I've still achieved that same sort of feeling, but now there's this, this comforting feeling that I want more than anything else. And I think this specific sort of setup achieves that. And so I have no complaints. Yeah, that's good. That looks pretty good now. Yeah, and this vastness here, I wanted that to be really represented. So if you pull out, you'll see that this is actually a cloud. Giant, look at that. Look how cool that is. So I had to decide between several different clouds before I got to that. That specific look I wanted. And those are the God rays I was telling you about, which I love. I did that God ray sort of like effect so long ago that I couldn't even tell you how I achieved that. So there's also a mix of several things happening here. Like this is both like parts that I was originally using for a short film that I was making around Steve Bijou and another character named Wendell, but I didn't like that short, and for both technical and narrative reasons. And so I'm bringing parts of it back in ways that still resonate with me and hopefully will resonate with an audience. And then, of course, like introducing him to new characters of mine and brand new splats. I didn't know how to do Gaussian splats even like a year ago. And when I say do, I mean kind of combine them in this fashion, even understand like how they could all work together in this sort of collage-like way. And as you can see, it's got this really like pleasing impressionistic. Like if you get really close to these scales, for instance, I love the way these God rays are really showing out. Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's just very painterly. And that's just the effect that you get out of the out the box. And I should tell you, if you're curious about how that even comes together, it's a Blender add-on called 3D GS Render by Curie Engine. They also have an app where I think you can also make scans as well. and 3D models out of those scans. So there's a lot of really cool free tools out there for us to use and bring these things to life. I mean, that's kind of the whole reason why I do these type of videos. So get a little bit of a sense of where things are, where things have gone, where things are going. Um, I don't know if I want to bore y'all with weight painting these pants, but I wanted to at least give you a sneak preview as to where this is going, and that I do plan to make this interactive in some way, shape, or form. It'll probably be around the story of Naga the dragon, which I myself have to find out more about. So for me, it's its own historical journey in terms of I'm sure Burning Man, Naga's team that created him, um, yeah, all that stuff, all that good stuff, and also making sure that these two or these three have a real story between them. I often like to just I fantasize about like, oh, can I make it into like a little graphic novel or a little like vignette? Um, I would love to do that, but I need a lot more time for that. So for now, I'd like to hint at the very least. There probably will be some sort of word balloon above the both of them and having a little conversation. So that's kind of where I'm going with things. Something, like I said before, something that feels comforting. That Steve is definitely like the wizened, uncle figure, and he's comforting Heartbreak and letting him know that, he's there for him. And so is Yi Yi. The little bird is named Yi Yi. All right. Well, like I said, I'm not going to bore you with the nitty gritty details of trying to weight paint um, Heartbreak split pants here. That's not for public consumption because I'm probably just going to be cussing the whole time. So, anyhow, hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, nice and short. And hope you all enjoy your weekend.